Carrie here from Healing Humanity, and today's video topic is carnivore is complicated. I've been doing carnivore diet for over 2 years now. I'm down over 100 pounds since my heaviest, overcame depression, anxiety. I'm off 15 different medications. It's changed my life. But when I first started carnivore, it was complicated. It was crazy. It was insane, unsustainable, expensive. What about fiber? What about heart disease? What about going against every social norm that's been ingrained in my brain since the start of time? Carnivore was very complicated. It isn't anymore. In fact, it's the precise opposite of complicated. So after doing carnivore for 2 years and learning so much, traveling around the world, filming this documentary, interviewing doctors, experts, individuals, I have come to learn that carnivore actually isn't complicated. It's the opposite of complicated. It's simple. It's natural. And I recently interviewed Kim Vandula, who wrote this book, Return to Simple. We're going to share a little bit of that interview in the video today. And something that Kim told me just blew my mind. It was such a basic statement, but it really resonated with me. She's been working on this book for a year and a half. And she said what she realized is carnivore is the truth. She said she realized that most of her life she's been a truth seeker. And after digging in and learning more and researching and doing carnivore herself and researching it for this book, she learned that carnivore is just the truth. And that really resonated with me. And that is, I guess, how I've felt. And I haven't really put that into words before, but when you get down to it, in every situation, in every scenario, in every thought, in every action, everything you're doing, there's always a truth. And when you get to the bottom of carnivore, that is what we realize. This is just the truth. It is the most natural food we can eat given the options that we have. It is the truth that this is our ancestrally appropriate diet. It is the truth that this is our species appropriate diet. And it is the truth that carnivore sounds crazy because we've been ingrained to eat all of these other things and have all of this balance and moderation and 60,000 products in the grocery store. But when you just eat fatty meat and your brain fog goes away and your energy goes through the roof and you realize it's giving you everything you need to thrive and you feel better than you have your entire life, you realize that carnivore is just the truth. And we've been misled and we've been lied to and we've been misdirected, all in turn for other people to make their wallets thicker and thicker and fatter and richer at the expense of our health. When you start realizing those truths, things become so clear. The biggest truth I have realized on carnivore is that no matter what you think, if you don't believe this is our ancestrally appropriate diet, if you don't believe the stable isotope testing and anthropology that humans have been eating meat since the start of time for as long as we've been breathing air and drinking water, if you don't believe all of that, the truth still holds. At this very moment right now, there is no cleaner, more natural food to eat on the planet to keep humans alive than meat. Fruits and vegetables are riddled with glyphosate, they're saturated with pesticides and atrazine, and they have 1/7 the nutrients they did before because we're chemical farming and we're scorching the soils of the earth with these chemicals just to try to get something to grow. And the truth of the matter is we get everything we need in the proper percentages, in the proper dosages from eating a fatty piece of meat. I've done only that for 2 years now and I'm absolutely thriving. So I want to share this interview with you and I want to share this book. And if it feels like I'm selling this book, I just want to tell you, I don't get a penny for promoting this. I could put my Amazon link in and say, use my Amazon link. I'm not going to do that. Go on Amazon, type in Return to Simple, A Journey of Hope and Truth, Kim Vandula. I don't want any payment or anything for this book. The sole and only reason I am promoting this and suggesting it, and I did this interview with Kim, is because I believe this book is going to save people's lives. I believe this book is going to give people truth and hope. People that are suffering and people that are hopeless in this world with depression or fertility issues or autoimmune disorders or living with psoriasis for years and years and suffering, trying to have a baby and start a family. All of those answers are in this book, and it is so simple. Hello and welcome, Carrie here from Healing Humanity, the power of a proper human diet. And today I'm thankful, grateful, and blessed to welcome Kim to the channel. Welcome, Kim. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you. We've got several things to talk about, including your new book, which I absolutely love so much that I invited you back on the channel. I started reading this the other day, and I've been really busy. We just got back from Canada, and I'm like, I'm just going to read the first chapter just so I can get into it. And then I had to go to bed. I had to get up early, and I read like half the book. I couldn't put it down. It's so well done. So we're going to talk a little bit about the book today, but congratulations on getting it done.
Thank you. Yeah, it's quite an accomplishment. The work of, a year and a half or so.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I've been working on this documentary, and I think projects like these are more work than people realize, even though they're passion projects. But we'll jump into the book a little bit more. But just for those that are new here that didn't see the other interview we did together, could you tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe where you're from, and what sort of led you to decide to return to Simple?
Absolutely. Yes. Kim Vandola. I'm a wife, mom of 6, and I've become a lifestyle coach through my journey of returning to simple. God has led me on this transformative journey and eating simple ancestral foods, living a simpler life, and really stepping into spiritually a more simple presence, and just found just more peace, more presence, and more purpose come into my life because of it. And just thinking back a little bit just on my childhood, I just have always kind of been this truth seeker. Like, I always want to know what's the truth of the situation. And also just this nurturing, and I wanted to be a mom. I wanted to help people. My dad would take me to nursing homes, and I just felt really connected to wanting to help care for people. So coming into the future here, it's like, okay, I found truth in a lot of things. I found truth in we have a big family, and that goes counter to the culture. And then that led to more truth seeking, and came across simple foods through, first a keto diet, and then fasting, and then came across about 4 years ago, a fasting influencer did a 5-day challenge where we're just eating carnivore. And I was like, okay, I'm going to give that a shot. And that really changed a lot for me. I felt even, doing keto fasting kind of off and on, I felt so well, not having any serious health issues, but just, a mom of a lot of kids, like the energy aspect was like phenomenal, my brain clarity. And then my truth seeking, just came in. It's like, okay, what's this about? And so that led me on, this journey of just listening to Dr. Chafee and listening to Dr. Berry, and reading many books, and just, wondering, and really, finding this is true. This is true. I'm a living example that it's true. And then my caretaking, nurturing, came in, and I want to help other people. I've, found this myself, and I want to share that. And so that led me into coaching. And so for the past, I'm on my 3rd year of coaching now. And it's just been beautiful. And to see that truth lived out, work time and time again, when the person really applies it, it's amazing. So eventually I was led into this Amish community that is north of me. And I started, just helping them with the same principles. After that first coaching call with Ruth, this beautiful Amish woman, I realized I can't just send her a video. Like, I can't just send her a Dr. Berry video or a Dr. Chafee video to help with that educational piece. And so I'm just like thinking, like, I really need a resource. I really need a resource to help if I'm going to be helping more Amish people. And that's where the inspiration for the book came from, was that moment. And after that moment, it was the wrestling, of course. Like, I'm not an author. I'm like, no, Lord, that's really not. But anyways, the Lord prevailed, and, ended up pursuing, and He put all the things in my path to get the support I needed with a book coach and the right editor. And so here I am now with this beautiful book. I'm ready to share with the world, and so excited that you, Carrie, were, so open to me sending it to you and reading it, and just so glad that you love it.
Absolutely. And, You mentioned the word truth a lot. That could have been a good title too if you were working on titles. Getting back to the truth, because there's something powerful there. I don't know, Kim, if I've heard people talk about it like that before, but I feel the same thing. It's like once you figure this out and you return to simple, you return to natural, you return to what we've been doing for as long as we've been breathing air and drinking water. There is just it's just the truth. It's it's so crystal clear. I don't know if I've ever heard it put that way before, but that's kind of what I felt also reading your book. You get through it, and I think I said this to you in an email, but when I started eating this way, I thought it was insane. I thought, this is crazy. It's so far out of the norm of what I'm used to. And most people that hear of carnivore, just the word carnivore, they think it's crazy. But I really believe that anybody reading this book, they would just be like, this is just common sense, and it's the truth. Like, it's so, you lay it out so well in the book that it's just like, duh, like, how can we not get this? It's amazing. But I'm so happy you wrote the book too, and the work you're doing with the Amish. So for those that are watching, we actually had Kim on as one of our Healing Humanity heroes. Jen and I and the girls were good friends with some folks in the Amish community, one particular family, for a couple of years now. And I was just thinking about this after I first met Kim, that without YouTube, I would probably be very sick. God willing, if I'd still even be here right now with all of the health issues I had. Definitely lots of pros and cons to all this technology, but as many people here know, the Amish, they're not going on YouTube. They're not watching videos. And so you going out to that community and helping them, what's that been like for you? And I guess how receptive has the Amish community been in terms of coaching?
Yeah, that's such a great question. So I think the last time I spoke with you, I figured I would be helping lots of more Amish people, but honestly, that hasn't happened. I helped 3 over, the course of a year, and it was like God placed those people there so I could write this book and give their examples, and then He gave me the time to write the book. But yeah, so after those 3, I really haven't really had a whole lot. So that's been interesting, and I'm hopeful that the book, is that, that touch point for them to be able to come into truth. As you know, all approaches, people need different approaches. Your approach is very important. And like many people are coming to truth because of it. They need to hear the good, hard truth. And, my book is maybe just a little different, and it may reach somebody in a different way. And these resources are more important. We also have the idea that the trust is really not there. And that's partly my story of, doctors and the medical community. And I think it gives this opportunity for someone like me and you to come and give our example. And people are like, you're real. And okay, so anyways, back to the Amish. I did recently go to the community to bring my book to my friends there, and then also see about some stores if they'd be willing to, sell it in their stores. And I did have one, so I'm excited that's for sale there. And I wanted to mention too, just visiting the Amish man. He's about a year after our coaching time, and he's just very much still convinced that this was such a good idea. The Amish are really for the easy fix, like a lot of us. I get their newsletters now, and you'll see just take this supplement and this detox or this treatment. And so this is not the easy fix, right? I mean, it is when you live it and it's simple, but just simple doesn't mean easy. And so I think, hopefully, again, the book will open eyes and hearts to more of like, everything you need is right where you're at. Everything you need is within you, really. You have communities also raising animals and all the meat that you need. So, another thing the Amish man was just saying then back to the supplements and detox, because that's what his, aunt's mom would tell him, you need to do this to help yourself. And he's like, I tried and I experienced nothing. And he's like, I don't believe it if I didn't actually feel it. And then he's like, but this was different. He's like, I felt this. And he felt it, in his capacities, his mental capacities. Like he was experiencing a lot of, depression, anxiety, just self-worth issues too. And yeah, and then also all the physical symptoms that improve, gut issues, all that, just it became resolved. So anyways, he's totally convinced, but he's the Amish aren't all, go tell everybody my story necessarily. Right. They're very humble. And so, yeah, I think he's gradually telling people, his family and that kind of thing.
Most people, when they think of the Amish, they think of simple. What are the Amish doing wrong that they would need to change sort of their nutrition or diet?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was, an idea too I had going into it too, that they would be living more farm to table. But that's just, not the case. They still are farmers there, but it's just really shifted from mostly being farmers to kind of the opposite. The men are working full-time jobs and the women's still home and the children go to school. But yeah, so they're not necessarily having the food just on the farm that they can eat. Lots of discount grocery stores are very popular in these communities. And they are getting all of our, expired, not always, but other, processed set foods that they're selling at these discount stores. And it's so cheap. Yeah. So yeah, you'll see Amish people there with their carts full of Lucky Charms and Captain Crunch and all the other processed foods that, the typical American, eats. And so they're experiencing, all the health issues we are at rising rates. I was just, as I was just there a few weeks ago, the cancer rate there is, just really, I think there was 4 people, that had it, and this Amish man's in his late 20s. And he said, there's 2 that are in their late 20s who have like a terminal cancer diagnosis right now. And to me, that's just wild. In this community, they are surrounded. We're in the plains of Iowa, and the whole community is surrounded by cornfields. And I was just, like I said, there. And as I was driving with the window down, I could just smell the odor of the glyphosate, whatever was being sprayed. So they have that environmental aspect going on in the community as well. But as you and I know, we do have control over our food, and we don't have to take that in. And even though you have these other environmental, you can still live, hopefully a healthy life, right?
Absolutely. Oh, it's terrifying that you can't ride through a cornfield with your window rolled. I remember when I was a kid going through the cornfield, like, oh, I'm out in the country now, I'm out in the city. And now it's just like you said, what are we breathing in? It's just crazy. The fact that it's affecting the Amish too, both the cancer rates, but then also the standard American diet creeping in. It's not even American anymore. I'm talking to people all over the world, interviewing people all over the world. It's pretty much everywhere now. My good friend William, the Amish family, it's William, his wife, and they have 9 kids. I stopped by there. I think I was 1 year into carnivore. And it was like, whoa, Carrie, what happened to you? I hardly recognize you. You're half the man you used to be. And I told him I went carnivore, and he said, what's that? And I asked him, I said, well, it's like a ketogenic diet, but stricter. And he knew what that was because he said in the Amish community, they use ketogenic diet. He said he had a cousin that had seizures, and he said they've been using ketogenic diet for years or for that reason. But you sent me a pamphlet, and I dropped that off by him. And I've been so busy, I haven't been back there yet to check in on him. So I'm hoping to do that soon. Jen and I have been meaning to go over there now. And maybe he's taken it to heart. We'll have to see. But I'm going to give him a copy of your book too. I ordered like 4 copies, and we just had a big meetup in Canada with Dr. Kiltz, and I gave him a hard copy version of your book. He's excited to chat with you some more too. But could we talk a little bit about the book, Kim? If you could kind of maybe just give us a little pitch, like what is the book about? What makes it different than some of the other books out there?
Absolutely. Yeah. It is really, it's a call. It's an invitation to step away from the chaos and confusion that we have been handed and step into a life. Clarity, peace, purpose, all the stuff that we want. It's not so far from our grasp. And, the reason my book is different is because I don't then, say all the books that are written on the ketogenic diet and this, there's a lot of things that make it different, but I'm just using common sense, ancestral wisdom to really hit the points of truth. Like, we don't have to have all these scientific studies, I don't think, to prove that this is true. And I think a lot of people resonate with that. So yeah, and I just use, stories are just woven throughout the whole book. Just kind of, walking through the book a little bit, I just start off with, acknowledging how confused people are. Just like the Amish, they're confused. What should I take? This supplement, or should I do this cleanse? Or, there are people, dealing with, should I, go to the doctor for this, ailment I have? And then just going through the story is what I do. I go through the story from what I understand it to be, and that makes sense to me, of how we've lost our connection. And I believe that it goes back to the land. And so how homesteading, was prevalent. We were living off the land and helping our neighbors. And then, by disconnecting to that, moving to cities, we've shifted our focus to then this industrial farming model that's come in. And then the industrial farming has affected, all these sad foods we have now, and then made room for this massive medical that we rely on now. And then, I go into the chains of addiction that, this has led to. People are just not stewarding their lives. They're not stewarding their health. And my book is, meant to inspire. It's meant to inspire people to just realize the answers aren't out there. They're right here. They're right within you. You were born into this body that got designed to be able to thrive. And when we give the proper inputs, it does. It does.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing what happens when you just return to simple, or return to what is natural, and how fast it'll happen. But I feel like it's so hard for people to wrap their brain around that, because of the addiction, and also maybe just because it seems like we normalize these things. It's like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. It's just some processed food. It's just some junk food. Do you see the world a little bit differently now, after you've kind of gone through this yourself and fixed your own health and have more clarity?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of, we've been led into this victimhood, right? Like, yeah, it's completely different, because, and I recognize that early on, and I'm very, very thankful for the grace to have realized that early, going to the doctor and seeing this pushiness with, things, and not being able to communicate my diet or what I was doing for fasting, because, being afraid of what they would say to me. And so, yeah, I just realized that the answers weren't found there, and that, it's found in us taking charge. It's found with us moving into a more natural way of living and eating. So yeah, I mean, I'm empowered, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure how you feel too. It's a gift.
It is, absolutely. Yeah, the victimhood, and also this mentality of, oh, I'm just a fluke. It's just something weird about me. I've got to take this medication. I've got to do these things, sort of thing. Drives me insane. It's such a miracle that any of us are alive, and that so many people are going to go through their whole lives just feeling not even suboptimal, just barely going along to get along, and miserable, and headaches, and brain fatigue, and depression, and all these issues. And it's just so simple. So I love what you're doing, Kim, because you're a good person, and you're a helper. You want other people to find this healing like you have. I share that. I'm hoping to do the same thing with the documentary. We have a lot of people watching this that want to help other people. Besides reading your book, what can they do to help get the word out, to help support you, to maybe, I don't know, help with your mission, I guess? What are some things people can do for that?
That's awesome. First, I want to make sure, we talk a lot about the Amish, but there's a lot of people that I help with that weren't Amish either, and their stories are woven in. This is not an Amish book. This is a book for anyone who is open-minded, truth-seeking, and it is a mission. I mean, I think we're all called into mission, and to share the truth. And whether we do that by deciding to take stewardship over our own story and start making these changes to affect ourselves, but not also only that, you're affecting future generations. If you're a grandparent, if you're a mother, if you're even a single person, that's going to affect people. It's going to affect everybody around you, and the generations to come. But yeah, I mean, as far as the, book goes, yeah, if you read it and then you feel that you align with it and, this is truth. I mean, yeah, I just share it around. I honestly feel like this isn't my book. Like, this is the Lord's book. Like, I wrote it because he told me to. And I feel like he wants to share a message of hope and truth. And he does that through us.
I love that. I have the same feeling with this whole documentary. I didn't in the beginning, but now I'm like, this is so much bigger than me. I'm almost on autopilot at this point. Just getting this thing done. The other thing I'd say too, if you really love Kim's book like I do, leave a review on Amazon. Get the word out. I think that really helps too, so that it'll get in front of more people. I want to ask you a question too, if I can. You mentioned briefly earlier the cancer rates. A big part of our documentary is on cancer, and I've been asking basically everyone I've been interviewing, what advice would you give? And of course, you're not a doctor, you're not a cancer specialist or an oncologist, but I'm asking everyone this question. What advice would you give a loved one if they were diagnosed with cancer?
It is, yeah. I mean, we're all faced with this question. I mean, even what we would do ourselves. And it hits home for me because part of, what I've been called into is, the inspiration from seeing somebody so young die of cancer, a young mother. I share about in the book. And that person not having the support, what she needed to make changes. I also have, we all do. We have people close to us suffering with cancer. And if I could only just give this to them, right? But that's what I would do for anyone, in myself, anybody. I would lean in harder. I would, to that person, just, make an extreme change if you can. And if you can't, that's okay. Don't just not do anything, right? We're so tempted to say, if I can't be all in, I can't do it. And that's a lie. Because not all of us are going to be ready to just go hardcore in. And some of us are, need a slower approach. And that's okay. It's God's timing. We just have to bring our willingness, right? That's it. We have to bring our trust and our willingness in the process. And I would just want to give that person hope, because I think they go and they don't have much of that when they're going into the big medical. And it's basically, this is your lot. Here we go. We'll try to help you. But I feel like there's much more that we can do ourselves to help ourselves to be the best we can be in this life.
That's such a good answer. I'm glad you said the word hope too, because I'm with you on that one 100%. So many people diagnosed now they're left hopeless. Like, just go take this chemo, do this medicine, and that's the best we can do, sort of thing. But it seems like the people that have the best success are the ones that take things into their own two hands and have hope and have a plan, versus just kind of taking it and going along with the flow, sort of thing. So in terms of writing this book, were there any big, huge challenges that you didn't anticipate that came up?
Yeah, the whole thing. Okay, so I don't have any background in writing or anything like that. So when the inspiration came, I was definitely like, no, that was a no. But as God persisted, I was like, okay. And then I kind of made this deal with the Lord. I'm like, all right, well, in the past, I've been very self-reliant and trying to figure things out myself. And I said, well, if you make a way, I'll do it. And so that's what I was talking about. He brought me the right coach that I needed to help me through this process and not feel like I had to figure it out all myself, and the right editor, and just everything from reading the book. He just continues to make a way when I trust. But there's been many moments where I've been, fearful, scared, which many people would probably have given up. but I'm pretty persistent. And if I say I'm going to do something, I do it. And yeah, it's just been a passion project, trying to leave this, it's amazing that I get to leave this book. It's like a legacy I get to leave behind of what I'm so passionate about and have been for so long.
So I always ask people this question as well. I think I already know the answer maybe, but there's a lot of new carnivores or people that are considering carnivore that come to my channel. A lot of people, but they're reluctant or they're concerned and they don't know what to do. I always ask people, what advice would you give them? Like, read this book would be one good one. But besides reading your book, do you have any advice for someone like they just can't quite wrap their brain around eating only meat or returning to what is natural or changing their diet at all? It's like Dr. Kilt said this before, getting someone to change their diet is like getting someone to change their politics or religion. It's really hard to get people to even think about it. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah. It's a trust issue. We've been led down these roads. I think if we can kind of have compassion over our own stories of going back and forth so many times with dieting and, trying things and it not working and feeling like a failure. And so then you're presented with this new thing and it brings so much uncertainty when we want to do something new, when God's calling us into something new. Because that's really probably what it is for these people. They're being called to transform and grow. Yeah. But that is out of the comfort zone. And we all know, right? You and I know, stepping out of your comfort zone, amazing things happen. Like your life is going to change. So I guess what we can do is, prayer is big, prayer is big. And then also just our example, to try not to annoy them, but just to witness as they're complaining about this thing or that thing, and try to bring truth into these conversations in love. And that's what my book really is too. Like, it's this heart to heart talk, just speaking like I'd be sitting down with a cup of coffee with you and just, here's what I've learned. And so when we can not attack people with what we're so passionate about, which I have to say, a book allows you to do that. I can be I've annoyed my family and, friends much. And, that can push people away. But a book gives you the time to write it and then edit it, because it's like, okay, that really kind of sounds harsh. Maybe I can soften that a little bit. So that's honestly been helpful to me. Just the aspect of writing the book has helped me grow in how I communicate this to other people.
Quick interruption. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in learning more about our documentary, Healing Humanity, The Power of a Proper Human Diet, or supporting it, please visit donate.healinghumanity.movie. Our goal is to reach millions of people that are hopeless right now, and sharing the examples of real people over the course of 1 year that are undertaking a proper human diet to overcome obesity, type 2 diabetes, depression, anxiety, fertility issues. We couldn't do it without you. We thank you so much. We are also selling these shirts, Healing Humanity, The Power of a Proper Human Diet. Every penny we get from those goes towards the documentary. And last, we have memberships. If you click the little join button, it's best to do it on desktop. Under any one of my YouTube videos, you can join and become a member. We have hundreds of members right now. We do members only videos. We do members only behind the scenes. You can email me as a member and I'll answer you. And every penny from that goes to support the documentary. And the last thing is, we have these Redmond's portable salt shakers. These things are awesome. You can get the best salt. You can take it with you. We sell these on the website along with our water bottles and cutting boards, and every penny from all of those goes 100% towards supporting the documentary. You can also sign up for our newsletter, which is completely free. All of these links are in the description below. Thank you so much for your support. Now back to today's video. It's so interesting because we're working in different mediums, but we have sort of the same goal. And I'm excited. We're on the home stretch with our documentary, but I just keep imagining the day the documentary's done and I see it and it's all packaged together. I've watched it in my brain, but getting it all edited and put together, I think it's going to be really interesting seeing it. What was it like for you when you first held the book with the cover and all the pages and all the words and it's all edited and done? What was that moment like for you?
Well, there was definitely tears, for sure. So after that conversation with Ruth, it was, a year and a half over ago. I remember it was yet that day. I was like, okay, write a book, write a book. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to just go sit outside in my grass ground and bring my notebook with me. And within 20 minutes, the entire outline for the book was written. And I think that was powerful in knowing that this isn't me, like this is bigger than me. And everything was already here. It's just a matter of getting it. And then to see all those ideas come together, be refined, and in this package, was going to make me cry again. I can't really express the words and gratitude and grace. Yeah, just to add a little bit more into the book, it's broken into 3 parts. The first part is simple food. The second part is simple life. And the amazing thing that happened once I realized, all these, eating ancestrally, I started getting curious about living more ancestrally. And, I was introduced to grounding and just living a simpler life. And so part 2 of the book is, all about, introducing those principles into our lives and stepping out of busyness and all these things that we're faced with today. And there are practical ways that we can help ourselves. And then, so part 3 is a bit more memoirish, it's just a very spiritual part where I share some experiences I've had of healing, some deep spiritual healings that have happened. And I think that, honestly believe that eating simple food opened a door to deeper healing spiritually. And so, for me, that's the best part of the book. And that's the part that I would want to give, any reader. I think that was all. I want to thank you, Carrie, for what you're doing. And yes, I feel so much alignment with our missions as well. And I think it's just such a fun thing to get to be here and share, together. And just want to affirm you in what you're doing. It's beautiful. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to share it with everybody. And just keep following, right? It's a trust. I'm sure you can really, understand that too. There's a lot of trust involved with what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your nice words. I really appreciate that. We just had this big meetup in Canada, and it's turning into a movement with just these people finding healing. There's nothing more rewarding in the world than hearing someone found healing. And if I was just even a little ways a part of that in some way, they watched a YouTube video or hopefully the documentary, there's nothing bigger than that. We had a woman, Kim, she drove out 4 hours with her daughter, and her daughter had autism, and she was nonverbal, and so she couldn't attend the event because her daughter was with her. She drove out 4 hours just to give me a hug and tell me that, oh, I'm gonna get emotional thinking about it. She overcame her depression. She saw my 30-day video, and she saw my passion, how I fixed my mental health, depression, anxiety, and she did the same thing. And she came out 4 hours to give me a hug. Her daughter gave me a kiss on the cheek, and she hugged Jen and the girls, and then she turned around and drove 4 hours home. But like nothing in the world could be more rewarding than hearing something like that. So I know that's going to happen for a lot of people reading this book, and we're definitely aligned in the mission there. And I'll continue to shout the book out, anything I can do to help promote it. I think it's absolutely fantastic, and it's going to help a lot of people. So good job. You did such a good job too. Like never writing a book before. Like this isn't flattery. I try to choose my words carefully and not flatter for the sake of flattery. I really, really love the book, and I think it's going to help a lot of people. So thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And your audience might be interested to know too that your story is in the book, from reaching out to you, and your story is phenomenal. Yeah, it's to be shared, right? That's what all our stories are for. And it's just amazing to me how many people you reach. I'm kind of like, as a coach, I was like, okay, who's the next person that's going to come along? And I didn't feel attracted to the social media as much, and YouTube. And it's just amazing now that my resource will reach people in other areas that aren't here, and how important both are. I'm so excited to be able to receive those stories, because I'm sure they'll come into that. People have no idea whose lives get changed, and that's the Lord working.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then the ripple effect of that too. Someone's going to read this book on the other side of the planet and find healing. And then someone's going to see their healing and find healing from there. And it's just going to ripple. a beautiful, amazing thing. So is there anywhere else you want to mention or shout out for people to find or follow you?
Yeah, and I can give those to you too, but I have a website. Yeah, www.return number 2 simple.com, where you can find me and learn more about, my coaching. Yeah, I also have been doing pretty regularly here a weekly blog. It's about a 5 minute. I even do audio for it, and that's been great. So I'd love to grow that too and share that with more people. So I'll make sure we get the link for that too.
I'll have all those links in the description. Well, thank you so much, Kim. I really appreciate it. I encourage everyone, check out Kim's book. Link in the description below. Share it if you can't afford the book, or you can share it on Facebook. Get the message out and leave a review on Amazon. I know that really helps too. So thank you so much, Kim. Really appreciate you.
Yes, thank you, Carrie. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye bye.